So how wealthy do you need to be to have an estate plan is a common question, a great question, and I want you to think of it a little bit differently, okay? Think about what happens if you don't have an estate plan. Now, if you don't have an estate plan, your family will have to go to court. That's because the things that you own, your house, your cars, your bank accounts, your retirement accounts, your 401ks, IRAs, your stocks, bonds, if you own a small business, your LLC membership interests, the things that you own, they have titles with your name on it. Now, if you're alive, you can sign the title to someone else. But if you're dead, you're not here to sign the title. So your family has to go to court, and they have to go to court to have a judge appoint someone with the authority to sign those titles over to your spouse and your children. That costs money. That costs time. Now your family, if they don't have the ability to hire an attorney, the attorney will bill your estate. So just right there, if you die without an estate plan, you will pay for legal fees, and you will pay for it out of your estate. The attorneys will be among the first creditors that the judge will disperse money to. And I mention the word creditor because that's the next part, is that when you die without an estate plan, part of the process of going to court involves your family having to publish notice of your death in the newspaper, and notice of the probate proceedings, and notice of your estate. And in fact, they have to publish multiple times in the newspaper, and creditors read that part of the newspaper. The banks, the credit card companies, the collection agencies, they actually all read and they follow that, and they will then file claims. There's this joke among lawyers that a probate is a lawsuit that you file against yourself with your own money for the benefit of your creditors, because that is who benefits. The other part is that a probate invites, by its nature, it's part of the legal system. It invites conflict, right? So anybody can hire an attorney and get involved. That means family members or business partners or ex-spouses. They can all retain counsel and get involved in your family's probate, and they can try and make claims that they should be entitled to something. And whether they are or are not, whether they're successful or not, really doesn't matter. It now means that your family has to spend more legal fees fighting those claims, which means that you really spend more legal fees fighting those claims, because it will deplete the value of your estate. So this question, how wealthy do you need to be to have an estate plan? Well, think about it. If you have an account, if you have a house, that alone might be enough. Do you want your family to have to go to court to fight over the house? If you have retirement accounts, and I have other videos on beneficiary designations that you should watch, because sometimes you think, well, I can have a joint tenancy on my house, or I can have a beneficiary designation on my 401k, and that will keep it out of court. Well, it doesn't always keep it out of court. And I've gone over in other videos, other scenarios of how those assets can come into probate. So the way that you prevent this conflict and this the unnecessity of publishing things in the newspaper and inviting creditors to step up to your estate, the way that you avoid all of that is you have an estate plan. And sometimes it's the more modest estates that need it more than the wealthier ones, because the modest estate can only be depleted so much before there's nothing left. So think about that. Think about that when it comes to your estate. And the question of, am I wealthy enough? Don't really think of it that way. Think about the stuff that I own. Do I want to seamlessly pass it on to my spouse and my children? Or do I want to create a scenario where there's potential for conflict? There's potential for publicity. There's potential for creditors. There's a potential for court intervention. If you don't want all of that, contact my office and I'll help you design a plan that avoids it.